Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving headfirst into one of the most absolutely fascinating foundational stories in all of human mythology. We're looking at Geb and Nut. They're essentially the original cosmic couple of the ancient Egyptian pantheon. And hey, if you think you already know how ancient cultures viewed the earth and the sky, well, prepare to have your perspective entirely flipped. We're going to break down their incredible story, their kind of quirky characteristics, and how their epic romance literally shaped the universe. And, surprisingly, the calendar, exactly as the ancient Egyptians understood it. Let's get right into it.
Think about almost any global mythology you've ever encountered. When we think of the Earth, we usually picture a nurturing mother figure, right? Mother Nature. And when we picture the sky, it's almost always a sky father, casting down thunderbolts, rain, you name it. But what if Mother Nature was actually a father? The ancient Egyptians completely reversed this standard dynamic. It's this brilliant little enigma that instantly sets the Egyptian cosmos apart from the rest of the ancient world.
Okay, let's dive into this. First up, we have Geb. He is the Earth Father. In ancient depictions, he's usually shown just lounging, reclining right there on the ground, literally acting as the soil and the bedrock itself. He's all about vegetation, bringing life right up out of the dirt. And bridging over him, we have his sister and wife, Nut. She's the Sky Mother. Instead of being grounded, she's this massive, arching figure spanning the entire heavens, her body completely covered in the twinkling stars of the night sky. So he's the solid ground beneath our feet, and she's the vast, protective dome right above us.
Section 1. The Great Separation, How Air Divided Earth and Sky. So the creation myth of Heliopolis tells us that originally, Geb and Nut were locked in this continuous, incredibly tight embrace. I mean, they were the earth and the sky completely merged into one. But a universe can't exactly exist without space to actually live in, right? Enter Shu. Shu is the Egyptian god of the air, and, plot twist, he's actually the father of Geb and Nut. To create the world, Shu performed this dramatic, highly visual intervention. He forcefully stepped right between his intertwined children. He pushed Geb flat down to become the earthly ground, and he hoisted Nut way up into the air, forcing her to arch her back across the heavens. Now, this wasn't just some extreme family dispute. This act created a permanent boundary. Before this exact moment, there was nothing but the chaotic, primeval waters of creation. By separating Geb and Nut, Shu basically blew up a literal bubble of air and light. And sure, this forced separation was deeply tragic for the cosmic lovers. They couldn't embrace anymore, but it was absolutely necessary. Without it, the habitable universe, that crucial space for humanity, nature, and all the other gods to exist, it simply could not be.
Section 2. Domain of the Earth, Geb, father of snakes.
As a chthonic, or basically underworld-linked deity, Geb has some fascinatingly quirky attributes. First off, his laughter was believed to cause earthquakes. I mean, just picture that for a second. The terrifying rumbling of the ground is simply the earth god having a good chuckle. But he was also a provider. He was personified as the fertile earth itself, with barley said to grow directly from his ribs. Yet the earth holds its fair share of dangers too. The Egyptians really feared Geb as the father of snakes. In fact, one of the ancient Egyptian names for snake translates literally to son of the earth. He was specifically cited as the father of Nephthys, this absolutely terrifying primeval snake god. It's such an incredible duality, right? Life-giving vegetation growing right alongside earthquake-inducing laughter and venomous serpents.
And this brilliantly illustrates a really interesting debate among modern Egyptologists regarding Geb's symbols. For a while, some scholars thought Geb was associated with this mythological creator goose that laid the ultimate world egg. But let's clear this up right now. The hieroglyph used to spell Geb's name is the white-fronted goose that translates to the lame one or the stumbler. It's really just a phonogram. It's a spelling symbol used purely for its sound, not its meaning. The actual mythological creator bird was the Nile goose, known as Gengunwer, or the Great Honker, which is a great name, by the way, and it was often associated with the god Amun, not Geb. So Geb never actually laid a cosmic egg. It was literally just a case of mistaken avian identity in the ancient texts.
Section 3. Domain of the Sky, Nut, the star-filled mother.
Shifting our gaze upwards, Nut played this highly mechanical, almost clockwork role in the cosmos. She wasn't just some static painting up there. She was an incredibly active participant in the daily cycle of time. At dusk, she leans down and physically swallows the sun god Ra. Throughout the dark hours of the night, the sun travels safely right through her belly. Then, at dawn, she gives birth to the sun anew, bathing the entire world in light again. She performs this incredible cosmic rebirthing endlessly, every single day. And that is exactly what keeps the forces of chaos at bay. Because of this fiercely protective, enveloping nature, Nut was deeply loved by the ancient Egyptians, especially when they were facing the great, scary unknown of death. Just listen to this beautiful spell from the Book of the Dead. "O my mother Nut, stretch yourself over me, that I may be placed among the imperishable stars which are in you, and that I may not die." You can really feel the deep comfort in those words, can't you? This is exactly why the inside lids of sarcophagi were often painted with her image, and tomb ceilings were painted a deep, dark blue with gold stars. She was the ultimate protector, always waiting to draw the deceased into her starry embrace.
Section 4. The Expanding Pantheon, Greco-Roman Connections.
Let's move to and see how this builds when classical authors began observing Egyptian religion centuries later. They started this fascinating process called syncretism, basically mashing up their own gods with the Egyptian ones. The Greeks equated Geb with their titan Cronus, since, both were these foundational fathers of the ruling gods. Set was equated with the multi-headed monster Typhon, and Nut was equated with Rhea. And this wasn't just some clever literary trick. It happened in everyday real life. Down in the southern Fayum, at a place called Tebtunis, local priests actually identified themselves in Greek text as priests of Soknibtunis Cronus. They were seamlessly blending their local crocodile god, the earth god Geb, and the Greek titan Cronus into one single, universally worshipped entity. Absolutely wild.
Section 5. The Calendar Hack. 5 days of bad luck and birth.
We actually find this next story in the writings of the Greek philosopher Plutarch, and he's using those syncretized names we just talked about. First, Helios, the sun god, grows furious with Rhea, who is, of course, our sky goddess Nut. He curses her so that she cannot give birth to her children on literally any day of the existing year. Talk about a lockdown. But then, Mercury, who represents the super clever Egyptian god Thoth, steps in and decides to gamble with the moon goddess Selene. And guess what? He wins. Specifically, he wins a 70th portion of her moonlight. He takes the stolen moonlight and masterfully weaves it together to create brand new days that exist completely outside of the standard calendar year. And how many days do you think he managed to create from that moonlight? 5. This number is absolutely crucial. See, the ancient Egyptian calendar previously had exactly 360 days. These 5 new days, known as the epict or intercalary days, were tacked right onto the end, bringing the Egyptian year up to 365 days. That's right, a calendar system that directly mirrors the one you and I are still using today.
So the crucial point is, why did Nut need these 5 extra days in the first place? Well, because she had 5 children waiting to be born. On each of these brand new days, completely bypassing the sun god's curse, she gave birth to one of the core figures of the Egyptian pantheon. On day 1, we get Osiris, day 2, Horus the Elder, day 3 was Set, and because Set was the god of chaos, this 3rd day was considered a terrible omen of bad luck. Day 4 brought Isis, and finally, day 5, Nephthys. Think about that for a second. The birth of the most famous gods in all of Egypt was directly tied to a cosmic loophole that literally fixed the mathematics of the solar year.
So the next time you look up at the stars protecting the Earth, or even just check your 365-day calendar to see what day it is, will you think of the cosmic romance that started it all? Will you think of Geb and Nut? They were a couple who were forcibly separated just to create the air we breathe, who guarded the living and the dead, and whose sheer need to have a family literally altered the fabric of time. It is an incredibly beautiful story of structure, romance, and the cosmos. I really hope this explainer has brought their myth to life for you today. Until next time, keep looking up and keep questioning the stories that built our world.